So my name is Glenn Hilke. I'm from the United States. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I'm 64 years old. I'm a father, 3 children, married for 20 years. I'm an activist. I'm an artist. I'm a community organizer. And I do a lot of work with the poor and the homeless in Kamloops. I decided to run for mayor because I'm really frustrated with the lack of action that hasn't been taken by the present administration, the former mayor, as it regards to issues around affordable housing, the environment, employment, job creation, strategies for revitalizing the downtown and North Shore economies. I think that I have a lot of good ideas, and I have some great strategies for bringing people together from different sectors that would try and work on solutions and not just continual talking and studies and research. So a lot of people in Kamloops are frustrated with the lack of action, and sometimes when they see City Council making decisions about projects like the Daily News building and the amount of money that was wasted on purchasing that building and then deciding that it's just going to be torn down, they're really frustrated with what happens with taxpayer dollars. My top priority is affordable housing and all the other issues that surround it. So affordable housing is the baseline. We know from a recent June 20th interview, report that was done by a city official for the City Council and the Mayor, that we need at least 2,200 affordable housing units in Kamloops immediately. There's no inventory right now. It's completely at zero. So we need to find ways to entice developers, landlords, contractors, with the help of the city, to take a look at our bylaws, our regulations, our zoning rules, and see what we can do to encourage people to build more in town. We have people coming in from the university, for example, from around the world, and they need housing. We have people coming from the Lower Mainland that can't afford to live there anymore, and they're coming here to live. Retirees are coming here to live as well. So affordable housing is huge, and when you can't afford a home and you're poor, you're out on the streets. And if you're out on the streets, you're desperate, you're hungry, you have no money. So when people complain about vandalism and complain about theft and crime, there are connections directly to affordable housing on this. So we need to work on that ASAP. I've thought about this, and like many other issues that I'm interested in promoting and working on, I would pull together a group of students from student union bodies, from different departments, department heads, to hold a mini conference up here at the university. It's important, I think, that we hear directly from the student body, from the youth community, as well as from some older adults that work closely with youth and students, to hear what they think is important to attract them to be here. We know that we need jobs if people are going to stay here, right? And we need interesting jobs. Not everybody is in trades, not everybody is in IT. So to hear directly from people what they feel would be attractive for them to stay is where I would take my cues from. Well, I can tell you from my own personal experience, when I first came here 5 years ago, and I came up to this campus for the first time, I was like, whoa, man, this is fantastic. So I would strongly encourage visitors that are coming to Kamloops to visit, to come check out the university. I mean, the campus is beautiful. The view that people can get in addition to that is just awesome. They would also see that we have an international community up here, and I think that's important too for people outside of Kamloops to understand about us, right? That we are a BC interior city. We are not a large city, but we're also not a small city, and we are cosmopolitan and progressive. And I think that the university is one of the main center points for the profile of the city that we should be promoting. affordable transportation, a fleet of electric zip cars. That's what we need. We need easy transportation for people. Bicycles are cool for me and you, good shape, get up and down the hills, no problem. So we need a fleet of electric vehicles. They could be electric bikes as well, but we need to help people get around town. I know that there are students here who come from abroad as well as from here who don't have a lot of extra disposable income. So, you know, to help people get around town, to medical appointments, to purchase food, connect with family and so on. This is something that we have to work on. And I've done some experimenting with it in some of the work that I've done by helping people who are living on fixed incomes to access what's called the ProPass program of the City of Kamloops. And it's cheaper than the regular bus pass. And I mean, it's amazing how it changes people's lives to be able to get around and feel like they're making progress in their lives. So I would say affordable transportation is one of the most important issues, along with affordable housing. Two words, buddy: climate change. That's it. Everything is going to be centered around that. I mean, if you heard about in the last 24, 48 hours what's happening down in the States, in Houston, Texas with the hurricane. I mean, there are people walking around with water up to their shoulders right now, literally, in the streets of a major United States city. So this is unprecedented. I mean, we've had unprecedented climate experience here in Kamloops this summer with the fires. Last year we were like right at the top level of drought alert for the river and for the lake. So climate change is huge. It affects everything. I mean, it's a national issue, obviously. Is it a security issue? Definitely. So climate change is the biggest thing. It's going to affect jobs. It's going to affect the way we live. We need to be not just the tournament capital of Santa, we need to be like the awesome BC interior capital of Canada. So what does that mean besides tournaments, right? We could be the, you know, the IT capital of BC if we wanted to. We can be a lot of things, right? But I think we need to spread our wings. We need to be willing to look outside the box. We need to take some risks here, right? It's not going to be the end of the world if something fails, but we need to try some things, try some pilot projects, you know, see how we can entice other companies to come in. I know a big issue for, you know, half the population is the proposed Ajax mine. But let's be real, the Ajax mine has a lifespan of, at best, 20 years. So then what do we do after 20 years? I mean, we're going to be back to square one if we don't put in place a strategy right now that diversifies the economy, that brings in jobs, that brings in entrepreneurs, that brings in, you know, investors into the city, because we're going to make it a good place for them to invest in, a good place for them to live in as well. Being a dad, right? Being a father, a parent, being with a partner. I would say that's my proudest achievement. Other than that, I've devoted you know, more than 2/3 of my life to community development and community work. And since I've been here in Kamloops for 5 years, I've put in tens of thousands of hours of volunteer time. And you know, there's a famous saying by Gandhi: if you want to find yourself, if you want to find your identity, lose yourself in service, in the service to others. So volunteerism is awesome. Anybody seeing this or hearing me, I encourage you to volunteer. I think it'll change the way you see the city and change the way you see yourself within the city.